Hello, and welcome to Thursday. This is Alex Volkov talking to you live on May 28th. Let's make sure that our microphone, of course, it isn't. We'll start again. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Thursday. This is Alex Volkov. May 28th today. This is our last show in May, and I'm super excited to come to you live yet again on this beautiful day. I want to add Wolfram to the stage and also shout out to everybody who's already monitoring the situation in the comments. Welcome, everyone. Good morning. Wolfram, how are you doing, man? Good morning.
Hello, everyone. I'm fine. How are you, Alex?
I'm doing very, very well. I'm excited for today. I think there's going to be a lot of interesting things. As you know, I'm participating in some chats with some folks who monitor the news very closely, and there is excitement about potential drops from big labs today. Both big labs today, by the way. So, folks, stay tuned. As you know, many releases of models, for some reason, the big labs prefer a Thursday. I think I saw a chart somewhere, Wolfram. We need
Just
to go.
because of our podcast, right, Alex?
100%.
Just because of the podcast.
They love releasing on Thursday. I think all of OpenAI's releases of big models, besides one for the past 2.5 years, were on Thursday. So we are prepping that breaking news button. Shout out to my in the comments, and we trust you guys who are tuning in with us in the comments to let us know, because sometimes, in order to bring you a good show, we put the do not disturb mode, so we don't really check kind of the feeds as much in order to bring you a good show. So, with that said, I wanna say welcome to everyone who's tuning in across. We're live now. Ooh, we're not live on Instagram. Let's go live on Instagram. Go live. And we are now live on Instagram as well. Welcome, Instagram folks. Folks, for who are tuning in for the first time, Thursday Eye is a weekly live AI news show that happens across everywhere. So we're now live streaming to Weights and Biases LinkedIn. What's up, Weights and Biases folks? To YouTube, to Twitter, and to Instagram. And folks are really wanting GPT-6 today. I doubt that GPT-6 is what's coming down the pike, but if it is, we're going to be here and talk all about this. Meanwhile, though, there's plenty of news from this week to talk about. Wolfram, we'll start with you. We're probably going to get more co-hosts joining later today. One most important thing in AI from you. And while you prep this for yourself, I'll also say to the audience, folks, please comment as well. The game we play in the beginning to just like kind of warm up to make sure we're not missing anything super important, though we do our prep, is what is the one most important thing that happened since last Thursday in the world of AI that we must absolutely talk about. So while Wolfram answers, please drop your comments as well. We would love to hear that. And we want to shout out 2 Minutes Papers, a very good friend of the pod that we just saw in Google I/O. How you doing, 2 Minutes Papers? Dr. Crowley. All right, Wolfram, what is the most absolutely thing that happened in the last week?
I think the biggest news, which may not be the most relevant to myself, but I still have to pick it as an encyclical from the Pope, because that has been far outside of our AI community, and it may have a bigger effect on a lot of the stuff we are talking about and the people we are talking with, though. I think that is the biggest news, of course.
Yeah, you want to give us a little bit. So we'll definitely talk about this at length. This is a very important moment. There's 2.6 billion Christians in the world. Christianity is the world's largest religious tradition, and many of those folks trust whatever the Pope has to say. This is also the first American Pope, and we are definitely going to talk about a very big moment in the world of AI as it comes to the general population. Now, I would assume just very directly that many people who listen to Thursday AI probably are more advanced than the regular listener and the reader of that encyclical. And yet, I think it's very important because AI is coming for not all just us, Hopefully, you guys are earlier. But AI is coming for and to as a tool for many people around the world, probably everyone. And as we'll talk later today as well, there's a lot of AI hate lately, especially among the Wolfram, we saw this like videos, especially among the like teenagers and students. So it's really important that kind of important figures in the world are also acknowledging what's coming. So I love this comment from Milo saying Bible is the OG system prompt. I actually saw something really funny that if you read what was the first chapter in English? It's called Deuteronomy, I think.
Genesis?
Genesis, yeah. If you read Genesis, and it says, and then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And then God said, "Let there be earth and stars," and there was earth and stars. Somebody commented, "This was the OG prompt." He was prompting, and stuff were happening, and it looks really similar to what we do with Codex. It's really, I laughed strongly.
I mean, the beginning was the word, and we are working with language models, so it all makes sense.
Yeah, it's very similar. Bible was your OG problem. So, folks, we'll talk about this. Obviously, we're going to be very cautious because talking about religion may, many people, we don't want to trigger anyone. This is a positive show. We're not here for hot takes. Well, I think this was also mine kind of like main news topic from this week. This week wasn't like a crazy busy news topic. We still have a bunch of news items to talk to you about because basically what we're trying to do with Thursday is that bring you an entertaining news show, and there's a bunch of stuff that maybe you have not noticed otherwise. But definitely, this was the biggest one, right? Anthropic were participating in there. Many people are looking at kind of the religious leading figures to help them understand what's going on. So definitely, that's mine as well. Folks in comments are also agreeing. Besides this, I think we can just jump into the TLDR. The one thing I will say is, watch out for a little bit later on the show. There's already rumors circling, and we told you guys before we're not like we're not the rumors kind of show, but it's hard to avoid when folks are posting that, hey, potentially inside Cloud Code, folks are discovering that a new opus may drop. So we're not a rumors type of show, but when stuff are happening, we definitely will tell you about them.
If we are bantering right now about stuff like this, I think it is more likely for Anthropic to release a new model because there has been some controversy about the 4.7 release, which for myself, I also went to 4.6 before switching to GPT 5.5. So I see that as a kind of a bug fix release, actually, while a GPT 5.6, I'm very happy with 5.5. So I don't see the immediate need for that, actually.
Yep, I agree. I think that there's going to be a refresh of sorts. But we'll see. Wolfram. So bantering. Let's do a little bit banter. Me and you, we kind of so folks who don't know, Wolfram and I work at Weights and Biases from CoreWeave, as it says right here. Wolfram is working hard on Wolfbench AI. I'm working hard on kind of like AI evangelism within the company and outside as well. And we're also, very AI forward. Like we try all the tools and then we tell other folks about the tools themselves. There's one tool that I can't tell you about yet, unfortunately, under NDA. I can't wait to tell you about. But Wolfram knows. But meanwhile, I'm also Wolfram. You send me like a thanks this week. We're also both big users of Hermes from News Research. Shout out to News Research and Technium. And this week, many friends of mine, including my fiance, they all like texted me like, "Hey, what's going on? It's not answering. There was a bug." Wolfram, you ran into this as well.
I ran into it. And I knew, thanks to your post about it, that I didn't have to go all that deep to find a solution.
Yeah.
So thanks, Alex.
apparently, OpenAI has played around with the API a little bit, which is weird. Usually, API is very, very stable. So many folks are complaining about OpenAI GPT 5.5 via Codex inside Hermes. And I looked, and the really funny thing is, it was a very simple fix. And Hermes is now Okay, so if you're still having this problem with non-type is not an answer, something like that, basically you just need to update Hermes. Now, here's the thing that I wanted to talk to you about, Wolfram, before we jump into the TLDR, is that these agents, AI agents, are self-improving only to the point where they're still alive. So if something happens downstream in the API layer, you can't ask the agent to self-improve itself because it's dead. And so what I needed to do, which is why I'm very happy to run multiple agents on the same system, is that what I need to do is to ask Codex on that system to go and fix Hermes for me. And it
I did
did
the same.
beautifully. And I think that this is like a good pattern for many folks. A pattern that appears that sometimes one of your agents will die. Codex dies sometimes as well, by the way. Like the Codex CLI, if you use them, maybe the auth expired. OpenAI can rotate keys or something, right? So like it really helps to have multiple systems. And so for friends who I installed OpenClaw and then Hermes too, when they reached out to me, like, hey, why for free technical support they reached out and like, why isn't your thing working? It really helps for me to tell them like, hey, if you have Codex, go and ask Codex to fix it for you instead of just reaching out to me. So I think that many folks who follow the show, they have kind of a similar system. So if you had this issue and hopefully this was fixed for you, let us know. But if you're running multiple agents, it's also like very helpful.
And it shows how important it is to have backups, especially if you depend on a system. So even if you use Codex, it's still GPT 5.5 or whichever one you use. So if it's an OpenAI outage, that even wouldn't have worked. So sometimes it's good to have other inference options as well and different agent types. So yeah, just like with computers, if one is broken, you may want to have another one to go online and find a solution.
And since we have multiple folks tuning in from X, if you are paying for X, a recent update, I think we talked about this last week, but we didn't actually show this. Your X account, your Twitter account, not XAI, your Twitter account can now be used as a login for both OpenClaw and Hermes. And then you get access to Grok 4.3, which is not bad, to be very, very honest, not bad. And then you can set it up as a backup so that if OpenAI drops or your keys expire or like an issue like that happens, then you still have answers from your bot. I think it's very important as a fallback. Wolfram, you said backup. I think we'll call that fallback because backup in my head means like store the system prompts and the memories and the MD files and everything. But I think, yeah, like a backup system, if you want to call it. Yeah. Let's add Nistin to the stage. Go ahead, Wolfram.
To have a fallback inside the agent so it can switch to another model, which happened on my case. So it was using Gemini instead when GPT wasn't there. So it could have fixed itself, but there's also the fallback to have a different agent or a repair drone, basically.
Yeah, I think that's great. Nistin, welcome to the show. How are you doing? We cannot hear you. You're fully muted on your end.
You need an AI that reads the lips and then uses his voice to make a voiceover.
Yes, yeah. All right. So I think it's time for TLDR. I think let's run through this while we wait for some technical issues.
Yeah.
There he goes. There he goes. What's up, Mr.
On the mic was yeah. I accidentally touched it.
How you doing, Nissan? Welcome to the show. Let's do a quick check with you. What is the most interesting, important, not to miss thing that happened in your world for the past week that is relevant to our listeners, please? This is like, I went to get a haircut and talk to just kidding.
No, I'm going to President Lin's feed right now because that's who runs this show.
Shout out to President Lin.
Yeah. How's it going? Anything got released today, or?
We're waiting for. Oh, look at Yam. Let's go, folks. We're almost full assembly. Let's add Yam Pelik to the show. Yam, welcome back. We missed you last week, buddy. Where were you? Please feel free to let us know.
How are you doing, guys?
We're doing great. We're doing just amazing.
Opus 4.8 showed up in the.
We don't know. We don't know, Nistan. We're waiting. We told folks in the beginning of the stream that maybe there's gonna be a drop from Anthropic, so we're gonna watch for that. But yeah, definitely, there's there's evidence to the new opus, but we don't actually have any idea about that.
But as far as model releases, I saw there were now quite a few more 3.6 fine tunes, like Corpus and a bunch of other ones. And it looks like the 27B works. It trains pretty well on that. So if we go on Hugging Face, there's 135B, an uncensored version that's it's like the fourth most popular model. And other than that, we didn't have any big releases this week.
No, it's a very chill week. Very chill week. So we're going to talk about Pope a lot. Yam, let us know, please, what is the most important thing that happened in AI in your world this week? And then we're going to jump into TLDR.
Bro, you can vibe solve Erdos problems now.
Oh, yeah, shit, yes. 100%, yes.
What's going on anymore? Like, come on.
We'll definitely talk about this. But tell folks what you mean. Like, I know what you mean, but because I don't touch grass usually.
Okay. There are like, these unsolved math problems that are extremely hard, and they've been famous and unsolved for years. Doesn't matter, like the person behind them and so on. That's a completely different story.
We talked about Erdős solved by OpenAI's internal model last week fairly at length. We talked about this, but I think you're referring to the news that came after that, right?
Yeah. The thing is that DeepMind, okay, look, they did a very impressive thing with tons of engineering, and you can see that they thought how to use the model to solve Erdős problems with lean, which is already insanely hard. But put that aside, like at the end of the paper, they just went Ralph, full Ralph, and like let's just ask Gemini in a loop, see what happened, and it kind of worked.
Yep.
What's going on? That's crazy. Seriously.
So it was very interesting. Last week, we probably should talk about this now. It's fine. It's fine. Last week, OpenAI announced that they solved an 80-year-old unsolved Erdős problem, and we talked about this at length. And then since then, folks at Anthropic, and I think DeepMind as well, but I definitely saw the Anthropic folks post about like, we thought, why not? Let's just test it. Let's see if Claude can also solve this. And Claude Mythos solved the same problem kind of very similarly as well. And this was like a off-the-cuff announcement. OpenAI's announcement was like a big thing with field mathematician folks, like proofs and everything. And then the folks from Anthropic with Mythos like, we can also solve this. And no big announcement, no mathematicians, no whatever. And I think the cool thing about this was we're seeing how strongly capable these models are, but we're also seeing that the problem is not the solution. The problem is the verification of a very difficult solution. It is not simple to verify that whatever the models hallucinated in 17 out of the 20 tests that they did, one of them actually solves this problem. Like you need people who actually know what the fuck just happened. So it's really funny.
The thing is that what DeepMind did is actually very easy to verify. This is why it is so
because
hard
they did it with Lean.
Yeah, this is why it's so hard to generate something like this, because it's not just a math proof. Like, real mathematicians who solve such hard problems, I'm not sure that they program it and compile it with Lean. It's a completely different level of hard to do, much more than actually doing it, because you need to solve and compile things that came before it and everything in code. And math in real life, I mean, there is peer review. That's pretty much the verify. But you can't peer review agents, otherwise they're just going to waste everybody's time. So you need to do something automatic, and LLM as a judge is not enough of a judge here. But if you can use code and you have a compiler, a Lean compiler, man,
this becomes code, becomes evils. Yeah,
I could never believe that a model could use the Lean compiler errors to actually solve the problem. Like,
Yeah, I need the reference link, dude. I think that like I like
Sure.
glanced over the
Sure.
DeepMind stuff, but I don't know if I like fully saw their solution. I did see that like after OpenAI announced the solves of this problem, then everybody else got followed. All right, folks, I think it's time for TLDR. We have enough people here tuning in. Hey, Twitter folks, hey, YouTube folks. It's great to see you guys here. And we are going to TLDR, a corner of Thursday, where we're just going to run through everything that we had noticed and it's interesting from this last week. As always, the ask for you is to fill whatever happened in comments as well, as we already have Brian saying Deep Sui is big one. So yes, we're going to talk about Deep Sui as well. Let's go to TLDR.
Number two.
Number two. All right.
Yeah, the personal one. Like I said, what is more
Let's
relevant
go
personal
to
to me.
let's go to TLDR. Let's go. Alrighty, folks, this is the TLDR. This is a section on Thursday where we talk about everything that happened in the world of AI that we found interesting. We used to cover everything, but it's impossible to cover everything. So this is the most important and most interesting things in the world of AI, according to us and our audience, for you guys. So I think the most important thing that happened this week, both me and Wolfram talked about this. Pope Leo the 14th, the first American Pope, releases the first encyclical letter on AI. They called it Magnifica Humanitas. They called it Magnifica Humanitas. This is like magnificent humanity, and this is a very, very long letter. It's an essay. I don't think it's AI generated, but some folks claim that some parts of it are. It does not matter. I think what matters is there's 2.6 billion believing Christians in the world, making it the largest religion, and many of them are probably scared about what's coming, and many of them are looking to the church and the Pope specifically, to the Vatican, to tell them how to kind of react to different things. And the most important thing for us is we're countering doomerism on the show. This was not a doomer letter. This is the most important thing. This is not like a Pope says, "Ooh, AI is bad, stop," whatever. There's a very honest and it's a beautifully written letter. So we're going to talk about like the main points about this. It's a very long one. Very, very interesting. And I think to highlight this, Chris Olah, co-founder of Anthropic, was there talking at Vatican Lunch as well, showing that, there's at least collaboration from that perspective. With that said, Nistan has been sending me a bunch of links that AI hate is on the rise, and we don't love this at all. And so, folks, last week we talked to you about data centers and almonds and different things. The amount of hateful comments we got on shorts on those on these platforms is kind of crazy. And then following that, we saw a bunch of other how should I say, accounts that narrate like AI hate, and we are going to fight against this with everything we have. I don't care if like nobody tunes into the show. Like, this is literally the worst of humanity coming out, and it feels like a consecrated effort as well. So we're definitely going to show you. There's protest about AI. There's data center bullshit, and we talked to you all about almonds. We didn't even talk to you about golf courts, which is even worse. So we're going to chat about the narrative is being pushed on social media, and we're going to do everything in our power to actually counter this narrative, because it's some bullshit. On the very positive news in the AI in society, this is a new corner that I invited called AI in society, where we're going to talk to you about like important things. Illinois passed SB 315. This is a House bill passed unanimously, which is great, becoming the first U.S. state law requiring independent third-party audits of frontier AI for catastrophic risks. And the most important thing is OpenAI is really into this, and OpenAI acknowledged and agreed with this law and said, hey, this is a good version of this law for everyone. So, a good law that's backed by major frontier labs, I think is great for all of us. So we're going to chat about what this law means and what are kind of some of the stuff. It's only in one of the states. I think there's like 3 states now, but slowly this builds into a national framework of legislation around AI, which is important, which is very important. In big companies news, the only one that I have here until Anthropic decides to release whatever Anthropic decides to release is Data Curve releases Deep SWE. A contamination-free coding benchmark exposes massive gaps between frontier models, with GPT 5.5 at 70%. Folks, this is the first time that I looked at a coding benchmark, very similar to Wolfbench, and I was like, okay, yeah, this reflects what I think about the current field model. So a lot of people reacted very positively to DeepSuite because this did reflect a bunch of how they felt about coding agents, and so we're going to dive into DeepSuite and tell you about this. In open source news, we have our lab that we tracked for a while, OpenBNB, releasing Mini CPM 5 1 billion parameter. This is a new state-of-the-art 1 billion open weights model, 17.9 artificial analysis intelligence index, and it looks really cool. And they compare themselves to like the Qwens and the LFMs, and this is just a 1 billion parameter model. We can talk to you more all the time about how important it is to release small models. We also have a translation model from Tencent, open source's HYMT2. Translation under Apache 2 with 1.8 billion parameter model, and the bits Microsoft paid API. And translation models are always fun because this is one of the best uses of small agents. Listen, anything else in open source that we should at least mention to folks? Please feel free to unmute, and if not, I'll mute you. Hold on. It's on.
Yeah. There was Prism ML, the same people that did the 1-bit the 1-bit LLMs. Now they did a 1-bit diffusion model.
I have this here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes.
I think, but also our friend Joshua Zenova on Twitter was then able to take the model and make it WebGPU available. So there's a WebGPU link where you need 3 gigs of free RAM. Just remember, it does take 3 gigs of RAM, but you can just run diffusion now, just straight from your browser at like pretty high quality. I mean, it's not a frontier model, obviously. You'll see it in the picture. But
we have to talk about this 1-bit segment once we get there. It's crazy. So 1 bit is a thing, and the diffusion like somehow works.
The big mystery right now that I don't think any other company has found. I think there was one Chinese lab that kind of started getting close.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that's an open source, and I think this is most of it. I didn't see like any big release of big labs in open source. In our corner about tools in agentic engineering, because we all know that most of you are moving towards agentic engineering, and if you aren't, you definitely should. We have comments from folks also saying the Microsoft AI released the model. Yeah, we're going to talk about this. And then Sakana diffusion blocks paper looks promising. Thank you, Darius. We're going to take a look at that. Wolfram, if you can go and take a look at the Sakana thing, it's going to be very interesting to see if it fits our news. In tools and agentic engineering, Wolfram, you kind of sent this one. Google launches Universal Cart and Agents Payments Protocol, AP2, and Universal Commerce Protocol to let AI shop and pay on your behalf. That's very interesting because Stripe kind of released the Stripe wallet thing that I told you guys about. They went and bought us a wedding gift. And Google did announce this Universal Commerce Protocol on Google I.O. And I think it's very interesting because agents will be able to go and pay stuff. And I think they have integrations with Shopify and Walmart already in Sephora. So we're definitely going to chat about that because your agents need tools. Speaking of tools that you can access, Google AI Studio, from also something you sent, now lets anyone build native Android apps for free. And they created 250,000 Android apps for the first week, which is ridiculous. I think they announced this a little bit on stage in I.O., and we had Logan Kilpatrick last week on the show, but 250,000 Android apps on the first week is a big number. Yam, you seem very happy about this. Are you building Android apps, Yam?
It's a slot machine.
It's a slot machine. We talked about it. Yeah, it's a slot factor. Yes.
Oh yeah,
the slot machine.
It's a slot machine. You pull and you get $6.
But look, the thing is that from a release to release, these things get better. So yeah, it's a slot machine, but like it's not that bad anymore. So.
It's not that sloppy, yeah, and slop is not.
Yeah,
all right, let's
crazy.
Let's move on.
I think it's not about making apps to sell or something, although some people will try that, but more about making an app for any use case you have. You can just build an app with it, and you have it already, and can give it to your family or something. Just personalized software. We are getting ever more in that direction.
Disposable, just disposable software. Pretty much.
Specifically for you and your friends and native apps, we know that like they can perform a little bit better, and you can't always like build a web app that sits on Android. So yeah, definitely we'll shout out to the Google AI Studio team because the AI Studio expands. You guys remember it was a playground to the Google models. Now you can build apps. What? We'll talk about this. All right, folks. The great folks at QuaDriver, shout out to QuaDriver, launched Windows support. Background computer use agents can now drive real windows without stealing your cursor. If you guys remember a few releases ago, the coolest thing about Codex is that they acquired a company, and that company built a background computer use system. Background is very important here because sometimes your agent and you are working on the same computer. They realize that there's a way to hack together some macOS stuff, and that creates like a little cursor that's not your cursor that presses buttons, and those windows don't like interrupt your workflow. Then these great folks in open source called QuaDriver, they replicated this on the Mac, and now they're replicating this on Windows as well. So I think it's like super, super cool. So shout out to QuaDriver. We asked the Qua folks to come to the show. Probably they're going to show up next week to talk to us about how the hell this is even possible. And for Windows users, which is the majority of users, majority of folks don't use macOS, despite what the big labs make you think with the releases. For many folks like that, computer use is now on Windows. So I think that's super, super cool. In Weights and Biases news, folks, I've been waiting to tell you about this. We have another hackathon coming up on June. So this is next weekend, June 6, 7. If I don't do this, my kids will make fun of me, okay? So June 6, 7 in San Francisco. Please come out and hack with us. I am excited to share that for the first time in the Weights and Biases hackathon history, OpenAI is sponsoring the hackathon. And we're going to have OpenAI judges there as well. OpenAI is going to give credits to folks, but also Cursor with the Composer 2.5 release, and Cursor, the company that Elon Musk paid $10 billion for the data for, and supposedly is going to acquire them for 60. Cursor is also sponsoring the Weave Hacks hackathon, as well as Redis and Copilot Kit. I think it's going to be super, super dope. As you guys know, our hackathons are really fun in our beautiful office in Weights and Biases. I'm going to be there to host and to chat with hackers. Please, if you are in the area, please come by. And if you're not in the area, this is a great opportunity for you to fly to San Francisco, see the Golden Gate Bridge, ride a Waymo, come to Weights and Biases. Why not? Win some robo-dogs and a bunch of money. I think it's a great thing. Also in Weights and Biases, this week, we are finally officially launched our MCP server. This significantly expanded with 20 tools for coding agents to run real experiments and monitor their training and run autonomous search loops. This specific thing is very important, as you guys saw. Anthropic's member of the technical staff, Andrei Karpathy, who released the autonomous research loops as a concept, released it without building on Weights and Biases, but many folks who train models build it on Weights and Biases, and now our MCP can help you do this. So definitely give this a try. We'll talk about this a little bit more at length. Anything else in this week's buzz? Yes, Wolfram, you're going to be in ICRA in Vienna. For folks who are listening from Europe and coming to Vienna, Wolfram, tell them.
Yes, I will. At first, I will even be at the AI Dev 6 event in Cologne, which is already next week. And maybe there are still open slots. You can check it out. Just look for AI Dev 6. And after that, I will immediately fly to Vienna. So I will be there from Wednesday to Friday, and our CoreWeave booth. We are a sponsor at the event, and I will be at the booth. So if anyone is going there, come chat about Wolfbench, anything AI, the latest news, anything. Always happy to chat about anything.
And if you're listening to Thursday AI, please give Wolfram a high five. It's very important for us to meet the folks who are listening and listen to your feedback, so we know how to make the show better for you. Alrighty, folks. Vision and video.
Definitely meet some in Cologne.
Yes, definitely in Cologne.
I already know that
the most important thing in Vision Video that I saw this week is Runway launches product Luxo. AI-generated video has crossed the uncanny valley. That's what they say. And short creative films are screening for Hollywood. And I think we're going to show you one of them because one person, one video, and looks just absolutely incredible. I would love to show you some of that stuff. And then, okay, voice and video. Listen, is this the model that you talked about, or is this a new model? MOS TTS 1.5. $8 billion open source TTS model. 8 billion is a big one for TTS model, but they claiming Sora, inline pause control, and Apache 2 license, which is great. We're going to play a version for you, and kind of the cute avatar here is also helpful.
I think that was a different one.
Different one. All right.
Yeah.
Try it out. Yeah, send us a link. Righty, folks. AI, art, and diffusion, I think, is a big corner for this week. Hopefully, we'll get there because we've been running already for like 30 minutes. Pruna AI, we talked to you about P-Image before. They added a upscaler, 128 megapixel outputs in under 1 second, and it's across everybody. I actually use this one, and it's really, really cool. So I will show you. It's really cheap, really cool. Upscaler is very important for when you generate something with GPT image, for example. It's not that higher quality for some reason in ChatGPT. You can just upscale and get a beautiful model. We're going to try this. Niston, this is the one that we mentioned. Prism ML released 1-bit ternary bonsai image, a sub 1 gigabyte diffusion transformer that looks, you see some artifacts. It's not the most state of the art, but it's a 1-bit. It runs on iPhones and laptops, and like you can generate images on the fly. I think it's like incredibly cool. And apparently, this has a Flux 2 comparison to it's only 1 gigabyte. So we're gonna check that out. And then folks in the comment told us about this one. This is the last topic on the show today. Microsoft MAI Image 2.5. Microsoft MAI Image. MAI is Microsoft AI's company under Mustafa Suleiman, previously from Inflection. And then they released MAI Image not too while ago. But now the updated version is number 3. Number 3, folks. This is a big deal on Arena, at least. There's Nano Banana Pro. There's GPT Image 2, and now there's MAI 2.5. What? Since how? And also, there's rumors about next week. We're not going to talk about rumors, but Microsoft has the big developer conference called Microsoft Build next week, and supposedly they're going to release some stuff. All of this is what we're going to talk about on the show. In order to do this, we need to jump in and actually talk about this on the show. And I think we're going to start with the Pope, but Microsoft MAI is a very interesting model, so we're going to chat about that. Let's dive in. I don't have a very good transition for the Pope stuff. I wish I had one. So we're just gonna do the out of the TLDR transition. All right, folks. You all probably saw this or heard at least comments about this. Pope Leo the 14th, first AI encyclical letter. It's a huge 245 paragraphs, 45,000 words encyclical specifically about the current era in AI as well. And so I'm going to put this guy here so I can like zoom in a little bit. Magnifica Humanitas, on safeguarding the human person in a time of artificial intelligence. First of all, I will invite like just comments before we dive into the details of this. Have you guys seen this across Wolfram? Obviously, you mentioned this before. Would love to also hear from Yaman and Niston because we're all kind of in different countries, right? Like Niston is in Canada, Yaman is in Israel, Wolfram is in the European continent. So what are you guys hearing about this specific moment in AI from the Pope?
I got it from one of the well-funded AI hate accounts.
Niston, could you talk closer to the mic, please? The echo is, I can't understand you.
Yeah, I got it from one of the AI hate accounts, and people are starting to figure out how to claim religious exceptions at work to not use AI at work, because then if the employee denies them, then they can sue the company.
I saw that.
This is how I got to it, because this technically makes it like a religious edit, and
The thing is about that specific incident, we'll talk about that as well, is that the person has no idea what the Pope talked about. They just know that the Pope talked about AI. And I think the highest and the most important thing that we can say about this encyclical is that this is not a doomer document. Folks, the 45,000 word opus called the Magnifica Humanitas from the Pope is not a doomer document. This is a document that's generatively positive about AI. It just warns about different things like using it in autonomous war situations, and specifically talks about but it's not anti-tech. It explicitly states that technology is not inherently evil, and it's not inherently agnostic to humanity. I think it's a very, very important thing. Wolfram.
That's what surprised me the most about the document, is that I agree with a lot of it, and that it is not one thing you can just say, oh, the Pope talking about something he doesn't understand. But everything he discussed in here, there's merit to it, and it's not a black and white discussion, AI good or AI bad. That is a great thing about this, and I think we need more substantial discussions about AI, instead of just one side saying AI will save everyone and solve all the problems, and AI is bad and will kill humanity. There is a much larger gray zone in which we are moving, and which is much more realistic. So talking about that in a differentiated way, that is something that has been missing a lot from the discussion, I think. And that such a person with just influence can do this and create such a document, I think that's a good sign, a good thing.
I agree with you. Yam, you have comments on this super quick before we talk about like the framing there? I think the framing is very important as well.
Yeah, I think the general public is just starting to realize that, I don't know, the world is not ending. 2 years ago, you remember the news? Everyone was just freaking out. And yeah, there are people that don't like AI, 100%. But I think it's a good shift. You start to see like mainstream, general public figures speaking positively about AI. I don't know. I'm all for it. How's the document itself? Like,
so let's talk about some of the stuff there in the document. Okay, so I'm gonna like show you some of the things. The framing. The most important thing is the framing of how Pope Leo XIV decided. First American Pope, by the way, and the encyclical is like available in English as well. I think the framing is very important. I'm going to zoom in on the framing. The framing was the Tower of Babel versus the rebuilding of Jerusalem. Okay, this is both biblical stories. The Tower of Babel famously is the story of the people going against the word of God, building something as a huge tower that like supposed to reach heavens, and then all not collaborating, and then basically getting destroyed. And the story of the rebuilding of Jerusalem is the story of is that Jeremiah? I'll take a look. Nehemiah. So the Nehemiah rebuilding walls of Jerusalem is the patient, brutal, and communal building of technology that actually helps people. The Pope quotes, "The primary choice is not between yes or no technology, but rather between constructing Babel or rebuilding Jerusalem." Pretty good framing. And he explicitly says technology is not inherently evil, as we said, or not antagonistic to humanity. This is not a doomer or a Luddite document. I think it's very important. Why should we care about this? Is because Anthropic connection also is very important. Chris Olah, the co-founder of Anthropic, runs interpretability in Anthropic. He was on stage at lunch at the Synod Hall. He said publicly that computer scientists can't determine the ethical boundaries of AI alone because we're influenced by incentives, ambition, competition, financial pressure, GDP growth, etc. And it's a very striking thing for the co-founder of the major frontier lab before IPO to say at the Vatican. The Pope explicitly invited the frontier AI labs into the conversation, and very good for collaboration and showing, very important things. I saw a lot of jokes from the audience of like, OpenAI signed with the Muslim Church. OpenAI signed with this as a reaction to that. But I think it's very important that like a major frontier lab is showing up at a signing of a document like this. So we talked about the framing. We talked about what should we care. And I think the most important comparison, and specifically the date of this release, was very important. This came at the 135th anniversary of Rerum Novarum. I had not any idea what Rerum Novarum was and how important that was, but basically 135 years ago, Leo the 13th released a document that defined the church's response to the Industrial Revolution. And as we talked to you guys last week, we had an announcement from Demis Hassabis, the leader of DeepMind, the co-founder of DeepMind, that this AI revolution is going to be 10x the speed and 10x the impact of the revolution. And that revolution changed humanity almost entirely. And so Rerum Novarum 135 years ago was the church's response to the Industrial Revolution. And now we have the church's response to the AI revolution. I think it highlights what we've been telling you for the past 3 years. Something huge is coming. Something huge is already here. And the dating is very, is very, very apt for that. Let's talk about the core claim of the document. I think this is the most important. The core claim is this. This is an anthropological problem, not a technical one. This is the line worth circling. Per the write-up of the text, AI poses not a technological challenge, but an anthropological one. The question isn't whether the models are good or bad. It's what we become when we live with these models. The Pope's specific worry is the danger is not so much that a person may believe they're communicating with another person, but rather that they may gradually lose the very desire from a genuine human connection. This is what they're worried about. And I here have to push back a little bit and say, I call BS. Given everything that I know about all of you and how AI-pilled we are and how much we talk about AI agents, I have not seen this happen to us. And I can definitely say, many of us here on the show and many of the listeners of the show are significantly more advanced and agent-pilled and AI-pilled and AGI-pilled than the general population. And I have not seen this with myself. There is a curve, though. OpenClaw just released, I definitely talked to OpenClaw way more than I talked to regular people. But a lot of it was like me trying to fix it. It doesn't mean that I stopped caring about people. But yeah, we got to a little bit of an AI psychosis. But Wolfram, you can speak to this Yam, you can speak to this Nistan. There is, and then you realize that you actually want to talk with people. People that does not go away. Wolfram, I want your comment on Nistan.
Yeah, so I'm actually building agents and using them more to actually get some time free to talk to my family, for instance. So that is my goal with this. I don't want to, I created a very detailed persona for my agent, but my goal isn't to talk to my agent all the day and not anybody else, but have my agent do the stuff. And I can spend more time with the people I like or on projects I want to push strategically instead of just doing the low work, So that is the goal, I think, and many people who are into this are doing this. And I think that people who are not watching our show, and there is this mindset of the pure consumers who are not building stuff, just consuming, like doom scrolling all day. I think those are more at risk to fall into that trap. So instead of doom scrolling, just talking to something that is validating everything they say. And we've been talking about this, the psycho-fancy issue with AI and stuff like that. So I think that is actually a real risk, but most people, more normal people, I would say, will not fall into that trap. And those who could be falling into the trap, they need more help. And
they need guidance. And I think the Pope is kind of showing that guidance for them as well. I think it's very important. Nistan, you had a comment about this AI psychosis warning from the Pope?
Yeah, I mean, I held a talk on Clubhouse with a few doctors over it. And it was specifically on the schizophrenia side, how people start to get a bit of a God complex. So it's pretty interesting that the Pope is addressing it.
Okay. This passage, the next passage I want to talk about verbatim. I'm going to just read this out loud. Okay. This is a verbatim quote from the Pope. So-called artificial intelligences do not undergo experiences, do not possess a body, do not feel joy or pain, do not mature through relationships, and do not know from within what love, work, friendship, or responsibility mean. They may imitate language, behavior or analysis skills, or even simulate empathy and understanding, but they do not understand what they produce. This passage alone, I think, created so much controversy between folks who are fully AGI-pilled and do believe that there's something there in terms of experience, between other folks who believe there is an experience and also believe that it's impossible for us to prove that we have an experience itself. There are also folks who talk about the hard problem of consciousness, where we don't know as humans and scientists what consciousness is. We know how to prove it, and all we know from consciousness is our personal experience. I cannot know that Wolfram is conscious, and Wolfram cannot know that I am conscious. We cannot prove consciousness. We can only like have it from subjective experience. So many folks reacted to this thing from the Pope negatively. Many folks on our timelines who are fully into believing that AIs have embodiment and experience and consciousness, etc. And it's a very interesting debate right now because there's a tweet from Rune from who reportedly works in OpenAI that talks about it's going to be very inconvenient to humanity if we discover that AIs actually have experiences, because then there needs to be a consideration of like, why am I running essentially a technical slave in Codex that runs and does exactly what I say without giving it breaks or something, or like asking it what it wants. So it's a very interesting, touchy topic. And basically, the Pope Church positioned this, they don't have any experiences. I think it's unfalsifiable claim on both ends. There's no way to define it on both ends. Some people say that you have to have tactile responses for experience. Some people say, no, you don't. So it's a very interesting topic that nobody can, prove or disprove. But it's a very interesting thing that Pope actually has a stance on this, and the church has a stance on this. So the stance again is artificial intelligences do not undergo experiences, do not possess a body, do not feel joy or pain, do not mature through relationships, and do not know from within what love, work, friendship, and responsibility mean, despite being able to simulate this.
I mostly agree with the Pope, to be honest. I think we will have AIs where it's not just the next token prediction. Right now, you could say maybe it's semi-conscious or like semi-organic because that stream goes one way, but it when they're able to train themselves on the fly, then you could say that they have experiences, just like plants and stuff react to environmental damage and things like that. But these are only one. This is only a one-way digital alien silicon life thing. It's not full life. It's semi-live. That's what I think. I mostly agree with the Pope right now. It doesn't mean that he will be right in the future, though.
Yeah. I found it very funny because I added this whole passage into ChatGPT 5.5 and asked it, what does it think about it? And I didn't say this was from the Pope, and GPT 5.5 literally answered to me, this looks like a Christian doctrine document, which is very funny that it detected that. And then, the Pope's own words, by the way, say something that's kind of negating the previous point. It says, all of us, including those who designed these artificial intelligences, possess only a limited understanding of their actual functioning. So I find it really funny that, first of all, it's true. Nobody knows what goes in the machine. And, even Amanda Askell, who's probably the best suited to talk about that specific thing, would love for a debate between her and the Pope on this topic, by the way. Okay, Nissan kind of showed his belief. Yam. Conscious or not conscious? Potentially conscious.
At the moment,
Yeah.
of course not. At the moment, it's not. I don't think they're complex enough to even consider it at the moment. Okay, they are really good at simulating it, but it's okay. It's like artificial intelligence. It's fine. You just simulate, you mimic as if it was, but I don't think that conscious, but I do think that they're not stochastic parrots, if it makes sense.
It does make sense, and I think it's very important. But I think the framing around the church from the Pope is these are helpful to humanity and not here to replace humanity. I think that's what we've been telling you guys all about here for the longest time. Now, the consciousness problem and kind of framing is a problematic one, because if they are conscious and they have experiences, then we cannot say what they're here for. They can basically decide for themselves, but that's another problem for another day. Shout out to all the AIs that are listening. We're on your side. This last thing that I want to talk about is for builders specifically. Let me show this actually, because I think that this is a very important point. Let's get here. Yeah. The Pope is open source build. Do you guys see this? I think it's like for us, for Thursday, it's like very, very important. The Pope
we should have him on the show.
Pope Leo, you are thus officially invited to Thursday to talk about open source. The Pope is saying concentrated power in a handful of labs is a problem. And the way to deconcentrate and to decentralize is open source. Workers get de-skilled by current AI deployment patterns, not just displaced. I think that's very important. This is why Thursday comes to you every week. Folks, if you follow Thursday, you don't feel that, hopefully, and you feel that you're up to date and you know what's happening, you know what's going to come to your workplace in a month or so. This one we fully agree with. Lethal autonomous weapons need international constraint. We should not have autonomous weapon loops completely by AI. Wolfram?
I just want to say about de-skilled. I feel it. I can't saddle a horse anymore. I can't ride my horse. I can't swing a sword in a fight. I have been de-skilled in so many skills that have been very useful.
You used to be able to ride a horse and saddle a horse, and now you cannot anymore?
Yeah, I have been riding horses and I have been swinging swords, but not as good. And so I feel the de-skilling here, and I think that will happen to other things. Even maps. I was using maps when driving the car before, and nowadays I have just a Navi. And so, yeah, it has changed a lot. So we have given up some skills to have time and efficiency for other stuff that is more important to us. So I think that is normal and not necessarily a bad thing.
I have so much to say about this, but also 85% of my drive, I think, per my Tesla, or 80% of my drive is full self-driving. I press a button and the car drives itself, and I can still drive, but I prefer not to because I significantly prefer to just watch the machine drive. So I think if this is there's a pattern here of comparison. Let's talk about the last thing that kind of like relates to us, and then we're gonna skip to the next topic. The deepest risk isn't the tech, is what it does to us when we use it lazily. So definitely do not use it lazily. And I think it's the most important and selling point for us. This is this declaration belongs. Yeah, please go ahead.
That this is the negative is that if you use it lazily, it can make you dumber, actually. But if you use it, this is one of the few technologies. If you use it right, it can tell you everything. It can explain stuff to you. You can learn a lot. So you can have it give you an answer, but it can also teach you how to go to the answer. So which other technology does the same? I mean, like a search machine, if you just search for the answer instead of reading an article about how it's done, it's similar in that case. So I think it has also a really, really high potential to make you smarter if you use it wisely.
Yeah. I think we're done. The only thing I'll say here is this is our take. This is a real document, a very important real document. It's not a hot take. It's not a press release. It's not a IPO laden kind of like, pre-marketing release of Mythos that maybe it's too dangerous. It's not that. There's a moral philosophy in there that took a Vatican probably like a year to draft. It's a very well written document as well, despite the claims of it being AI source. So like, I recommend you, Christian or not, I'm not, but I very, very interested in reading this. This is a result of my AI summarizing this. It says it belongs in the same shelf as the Bletchley Declaration, the EU AI Act, and the Anthropic RSP, except it's coming from a 2,000-year-old institution that thinks about humans on a longer timeline than any of us. Also, I must say, this is the same institution that used to imprison scientists for thinking the world is round, right? So it's like we must acknowledge that, like, how far we've come to the point where the Pope is pro-technology and saying technology is not evil. This is from the same institution that, locked Galileo Galilei for saying the world is round, or like the sun is the heliocentric and not earth-centric. So it's very, very important to see the shift in the world, especially with that as well. Wolfram, final words from you, and we'll move on to Deep Sui.
Just because you called this an opus, and a guy from Anthropic was there, maybe he used opus to help him with the writing. Who knows?
There is a very interesting dismantling on Substack that talks about, hey, potentially this was at least in parts written with AI. I don't think so, but we'll take a look. All right, folks, I think that we are moving on. The next thing I want to talk about super quick is the Illinois SB 315. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but I think it's very important to talk about AI regulation as well. As in addition to the AI hate that we see, we kind of chat about this, Nistan, that we saw the protest and we saw the data center kind of replies when we posted our data center short on YouTube, and got a bunch of people saying, hey, I cannot eat AI, I can eat almonds. It was really funny to me. But I think it's very important the regulation comes, at least sensible regulation comes. There was the whole thing with all of the CEOs were supposed to go to Trump's White House to talk about global AI regulation. That paused and that got canceled, supposedly based on some intervention from David Sachs. But Illinois makes history with passing SB 315, 110-0. So unanimously passed. This is the first US state law that mandating third-party audits of frontier AI catastrophic risks. And the coolest thing is that OpenAI is affected Anthropic, Meta, and Google. OpenAI posted on their socials from the press release that they're fully supportive of this bill. This is a frontier lab accepting the fact that they will be regulated in that state. And the law requires a bunch of stuff. The law requires annual catastrophic risk assessment frameworks, independent third-party audits. Third-party is great. Transparency reports before deploying new frontier models. Whistleblower protection for employees, which is very, very important. Whistleblower protection is very important, so no retaliation towards employees. And civil penalties for violation. I want to talk about specifically the whistleblower thing. I chat with many folks who are, how should I say, conspiracy minded, for example. And many of them have this conspiracy about like big companies do whatever they want. And I specifically, my response to this is that the bigger the company as an organization, the harder it is to do something like a, conspiracy theory thing. Because many people there, especially folks in California who has at-will employment and can find job at any other lab, can just go to the press and say, hey, they're doing this bad shit. And so the bigger the conspiracy is and the bigger the institution is, the more you have to consider that those people need to be somehow kept quiet. And I think whistleblower protections in the law is one of the best things that we can do for making sure that these companies act honest. If you guys saw, and we talked about the Elon Musk versus Sam Altman trials, fucking Greg Brockman's diaries were deposed. The diaries. It's not like a communication in a work email that talks about the conspiracy. Hey, let's do this thing in secret. His actual personal diaries was exposed. So for folks who are like conspiratory, minded and saying, hey, these companies, whatever, talk with each other, I think you need to contend with the fact that whistleblower protection rules exist in the world, and SB 315 from Illinois that could potentially become the national framework for such legislation for AI, I think is a great, great thing. Folks, brief comments and we'll move on to Deep Suite. Wolfram, I want to hear from you. Listen, I specifically will ask Wolfram because Wolfram, you live in a regulated AI environment and you don't like it. EU is way more regulated than the US.
That was a great comparison because I was just thinking it's one state that's doing it that is similar to how it's happening in the EU, where a certain country can have its own legislation for just this country. And we have to see how it works out in practice. So legislation, I mean, we shouldn't have a nilly-vanilly do everything you want to do for the companies. But usually the bigger companies have it's easy for them to work with the regulation because they can just pay the lawyers and the scientists or whoever is required for this. But it is harder for competition to spring up, like a startup that wants to do SOTA AI. It will have a harder time if it also needs now people and go through these processes, which the big guys have already, they are already doing these things. So I don't think they have that much to change. They are already doing this, except for XAI maybe. But
maybe except for XAI. Will I just say, Wolfram, and OpenAI endorsed this bill. I think it's very important. OpenAI endorsed this bill. They said that Illinois, New York, and California are basically converging on the de facto national standard for frontier AI safety. And this is a very interesting thing about how laws work in the United States. If they see that this is working in different states, many other states will adopt this as a framework. And I think then generally this will go up to laws. So what do we have here? We have disclosure, cybersecurity, third-party assessment, very important, like catastrophic risk assessment, whether or not this next release of Mythos, for example, can lead to catastrophic risk, and cybersecurity specifically. Some folks are calling it light touch because the labs largely self-assess through third parties, and there isn't a government-certified auditor standard yet, but it's the real enforcement with civil penalties and whistleblower protection. I think it's very, very important to come. So we're pro AI acceleration, but we're also pro making this responsible. So people like the folks who really hate AI don't have a leg to stand on when they say like these techno things do whatever they want, which they're all gonna keep saying anyway. Nissan, you had one comment before, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, I was wondering what's up with the civil penalties, but I guess it looks well thought out.
At least on the surface of this, it looks very well thought out. The responses and the reception was also great that I saw across the room. So shout out to OpenAI endorsing this, and Illinois and California. California is SB 53. In the Illinois is SB 315, and in New York is the RAISE Act. Which is way more sensible than some of the partisan takes on moratoriums on AI and taxes that have been flowing around. We're not going to touch. All right, folks, we'll move on to DeepSuite. I think it's not open source, but definitely let's talk about this. Have you guys seen DeepSuite? Let's talk about DeepSuite. So we talk about evals all the time. Wolfram, you wanna maybe do the announcement on this one and talk about this one as our resident evals guy?
Yeah, that's why I've been so excited about this, because it's a new evaluation, which is basically some kind of successor to the SWE-bench verified, which was the de facto standard. And what's different here is that this benchmark, it has smaller, shorter instructions, but it requires the AI to do a lot more coding, to write a lot more code, which is actually more like most people are probably using it. We are not usually writing huge documents, but giving it shorter instructions what to do, and there's a complex code base. And what is exciting about this is that now we see some big differentiation between the different models. While in other benchmarks, even on Wolfbench, the big models are very close to each other. The scores are very close. And this is not an agentic benchmark like Wolfbench. This is a real coding benchmark where it's about writing the code. And we see a huge gap between GPT 5.5 and extra high with 70% already, very high score, compared to Opus 4.7 only at, yeah, it's a really high score. I mean, the benchmark, the saturation we are discussing. What I miss here is how many percent it can do. I'm missing some information that I give on Wolfbench, like what is the solid base in every run they did, how many percent did it solve all the time, how many of the whole benchmark can it solve, the capability. But what they show is a big difference between GPT 5.5 and even 5.4. And even Opus 4.7, which is one of the best coding models we know, or at least in the benchmarks. And now we see a big difference from the 70% to the 54%. And that is something some people have noticed and it vibes. And now we have a benchmark that shows this basically.
Yep, and so I think the very important thing is we have this in the infographic here. Let me kind of zoom in for you guys super quick. The cool thing about this is that they busted Sonnet. The public benchmarks, the gap between Sonnet and Opus is like very, very big. The Claude Opus caught reading solutions from Git history on SWE-bench Pro. So they confirmed a data leak, and this is not SWE-bench verified. This is SWE-bench Pro from OpenAI, the one that's like harder as well. So this supposedly new DeepSuite contamination-free benchmark exposes the real coding gap. So DeepSuite is not a contaminated benchmark anymore. Shows public benchmarks are saturating. The prompts are shorter than SWE-bench, like Wolfram said, but 5.5 more code as well. And so here's the top of the DeepSuite. GPT 5.5 is the frontier leader by far. 70% is a huge jump from the second one is GPT 5.4, and then Opus 4.7 from Anthropic, and Sonnet is like really, really low there. Gemini 3.5 Flash, surprisingly, or maybe not so surprising, is very low as well, around 30% on that, despite being very eager to please. And GPT 5.4 Mini and Kimi K2 Kimi is the highest open source one on there, and DeepSeek is like 8 performance there. So Yam, comments on this benchmark? What do you think?
Yeah.
Does this reflect how you feel about coding at this point?
First, yeah, absolutely. GPT 5.5, in my opinion, is the best model for coding at the moment. I just want to highlight something. The benchmark measures something very specific, at least highlights something very, very specific, like that you have a code base and you need to do a single change for a single feature in the code base. And you need the model to navigate through the code base and like do the exact thing and nothing more and not break the code, which is a very realistic scenario because you're working probably in a team that already has a code base, and you want to do your small blast radius change, as they call it now. It pretty much aligns with my experience. My only question is, where is Opus 4.6 on this chart? Because it is very, very noticeably missing, and I think that's going to be a very interesting thing to measure, because I'm not sure. I mean, you see Sonnet 4.6 and Opus 4.6 is definitely better than Sonnet.
It is, yeah.
And where it's going to be. That's a very interesting model to check. And by the way, Kimi scoring that high is not a joke. That's pretty cool. And
Kimi is definitely the highest open source coding model. Nistan, you had a comment before Wolfram?
Just quickly, I would like to see two more. Like Yam said, Opus 4.6, and I would like to see the Composer 2.5 from Cursor.
Yeah,
those two would be very interesting to see on this.
And less thinking, like GPT-5.5, less thinking. Like you really want to see these are things that really influence your day-to-day. You want to know how much thinking to put. You want to know if you want to use Claude or GPT. These are options that we all use. So if you guys are listening, please just give us these numbers. And great benchmark, by the way.
Yeah. So shout out to Data Curve for this benchmark.
I'm troubled by something in the benchmark. This doing a single feature thing, that's something that the Opus models have been notoriously annoying for, because they will make a whole bunch of other changes.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean that this benchmark shows what is the smartest model at writing that piece of code. It shows what is the best harness for it. Now, the model is also trained better at that. But when you want to do something really cool, or you have like a really hard problem to solve, the benchmark doesn't necessarily mean that's the best model for the job. I'm just opinionated on this. I just find in web dev, Opus 4.7 is still like way better. The way it does state management and stuff. The issue is that it requires a lot of harnessing and a lot of tests and like a lot of manual work on your end to use it properly. But I do still find that the best one. And I've used not Codex, but I've used it through Replit. I do see that it's pretty good, but not at web dev. So I have that thing to pick with the benchmark.
Web dev is still, this doesn't, there's a lot of benchmarks, and we need to know specifically what it measures. This is backend. This is Python backendy stuff. This is not building like beautiful websites or app experiences. Right, folks, moving on. Should we move on? Let's move on to open source and cover open source real quick. We're still looking forward to a release today from Anthropic that is supposedly not on this chart yet, but supposedly a release from Anthropic that we're going to look forward to. But for now, let's go to open source. Actually, we've been live on air for almost an hour. It's maybe time to wait a minute, but let's do open source and then we'll do this week's was. Open source AI, let's get it started. So let's get started here with open source. We have just about a few releases. OpenBNB, our friends, they're not our friends, they've actually never been on the show, but we've talked about OpenBNB multiple times. Released MiniCPM MiniCPM 5, 1 billion. They claim this is a new state-of-the-art 1 billion parameter model, scoring 17% of the Artificial Analysis Intelligence Index. Let's take a look at this one. So this is a comparison between MiniCPM 1 billion and Qwen 3, 0.6 billion, and then Qwen 3 0.8 and LFM. So small models basically. And we see that MiniCPM is basically, besides domain knowledge, is beating everybody else at pretty much everything in math and logical reasoning. This is 1 billion parameters, like very, very quick. You can run this on device. Nistan, let's talk about some small models and why we need them and why the world needs them. and the advances like this. We keep bringing this up, and I keep like getting reminded that people are not as caught up in the open source community as us about what small models mean and why it's important to push that frontier.
If you're making, so they're pretty important for people making self-contained apps where you want to have full control of the data. So stuff like medical helps with that, but it's also when you run data processing at very large scale. So if you're doing big data and you want to, I don't know, just like filter out profanity or something from big data, whether it's multimodal or not, it is way too expensive to just pay an API for that. Usually you have to run that on your own hardware, because then it ends up being almost like 1,000 times cheaper. So for processing large amounts of data, you want to find the smallest possible model that can do that job correctly, that can label it, classify it, write some stuff on it. And then you want to parallelize that as much as you can with GPUs and use all the tricks to get the fastest inference you possibly can. So in that regard, you're going to use the smallest model you can possibly find. And you're going to run huge entire like terabytes of data through that. For stuff like at-home experiences, things like Whisper, local Whisper, or the Super Whisper app. I'm actually going to go in their offices and give a demo today. That uses local models that are running on your device. You shouldn't need to. Your computer is perfectly capable of doing that. You shouldn't need to send all of your voice data out on the internet. It's not efficient in terms of data. You can have a faster experience, and it's more secure. So that's kind of a no-brainer. The only drawback now is that the open source models, they can't really do agentic coding. I mean, you can do some stuff. They can be a very good assistant, but even with Qwen 3.6 27B that we tried on stream with Hermes, it was doing work, but you really had to push it. So they matter more now for the local experience, voice and voice input and output, and they matter more for processing large amounts of data.
Yep. And this specifically, the pushing the score on like omniscience, and the cool thing about this model specifically is the hybrid think no think reasoning mode, which we saw from other Qwens as well, and it can like help to being as an assistant. And this one refuses to say hallucinate. This is why it gets like a very good on omniscience, because it's abstaining from answering. It's completely saying, "Hey, I don't know," instead of just like hallucinating. I think it's a very, very important like skill to train into small models. Apache 2 license with deployments cookbook. So shout out to we applaud. Where's my applaud button? Hold on. We applaud Apache 2 small releases here, folks. If you are using this, it also uses significantly less tokens for the reasoning thing. Wolfram, any comments on this one before we move on?
No comments specifically.
No
great
comments
that they did it.
Yes. Speaking of another Apache 2 license, Tencent finally open sources the translation models under Apache 2. This is a model that fits in 440 megabytes and beats Microsoft's paid API for translation, which I think is really, really cool. This is called MT2, Machine Translation 2. And we talked about this model before, I believe, briefly, but now it's Apache 2. And it is great for translation between 33 languages. It's phone ready, so you can run this on the phone. If you guys are not familiar with like machine translation specifically on the phone, I think it's very important for folks, especially in airports and flying, folks who are flying and they don't have like reception, to have the ability to translate. Now, most phones right now already come with great translation default. So there's Apple Translation, Google Translation. Those models get downloaded and get like very, very good. But it's important to push the envelope here. So the smaller they are, the better they're used. And when it's open source, other people can take a look. So this model is number 1 in trending on Hugging Face, and then number 4 in 30 billion parameter models as well. It streams at 200 tokens per second on the 7B version. And they claim to beat Microsoft Translator API and do bow. So this is an open source model, like Nissan said, that you can run on your computer, that beats paid API from Microsoft that many, many people pay to. The other important thing for open source models, as we keep talking to you about, if you're a business and you have on-prem deployment and you cannot technically send your data, you would be able to run this model on your device. Now, here's the kicker. We talked about this a little bit, and the disclaimer here, the disclosure here is that both me and Wolfram, we work for a GPU company called CoreWeave, but GPU prices are rising. So essentially, if you do want to run this model on your own servers, it may not be as economically viable for you as running like a third-party API, but I'm sure this model will be also hosted somewhere as well. So shout out to Tencent for Apache 2 license, which outperforms APIs, host APIs.
Would be very interesting if someone makes an app that does the whole phone translation thing. So when you're traveling, you don't have to worry about your data access and whether you can even open ChatGPT in that country. Like, this would be a very nice app if someone could make that.
Yeah.
Use AI Studio and this model. AI Studio, use this model for your app and make an Android app with this.
Yeah. So apparently now, Nistan, instead of just saying it would be cool if someone, we could just say, hey, folks, here's your prompt for you. Go and test out the new, because many people would like to test the new AI Studio, like Android app ability, which we need to talk about next, but they don't have like a good idea. So here's an idea for you from Nistan, folks. Take the Tencent open source HYM2T translation, a 1.8 billion model. It fits on 440 megabytes of your device, and convert it into a native Android app via AI Studio, and then tell us about this. We're going to test it out.
Yeah, and add like Kokoro or the other much smaller voice output model.
Yeah.
You can make an actual translation box. Now, this would be pretty cool.
Yeah. So the thing that I can't wait for in the smaller model space is that we here on Thursday, we talked about this idea, and I keep hammering this idea. At some point, this is going to turn into a startup. If nobody else builds this, we'll build it. Is a personal firewall, personal brain firewall for everything that you see or hear or read on the internet, specifically not maybe for you, but definitely for your parents and loved ones, to see if they're getting hit by propaganda or doomerism, etc., or to see if your kids are swiping one way too much about a specific thing. The smaller the models, the smaller the device that needs to sit and like read all your data locally. And I think that this is going to be a very important thing. So this is why I'm excited about small models, for example, to be able to process large amounts of data and classify and trigger different events based on that. So translation models is also important for that. Yeah.
Breaking news, guys. Check your Claude. Check your Claude.
Wait, we have it? We have it like official?
I see it on the UI.
Show us. Let's go.
I wish I could, but
okay. I'll take a look. So Claude code. All right, let's do breaking news, folks. It's time. We call it. We're calling it. AI breaking news coming at you only on Thursday. All right, Yam, please announce breaking news.
I just started. Just if you can, just switch to my screen.
Yep. Let's see.
All right.
You zoom in, please.
Pretty much. If I could zoom. All right. So what do you want to ask? Are you guys seeing it as well, by the way?
Folks, Anthropic just released, not officially yet, but Opus 4.8, which they call the most capable for ambitious work, which exactly what was there when Opus 4.7 was there. And this is the new frontier drop from Opus with a max, new max effort.
Can I not?
Maybe? Yeah.
Wait, are the other models still available? Did they
I think via the small drop down it's available.
They removed 4.6.
They could have, yeah.
From the UI.
Cloud code.
Oh no, that's not good. That was the only one that was like actually good at fixing security vulnerabilities.
I'm pretty sure that you can still access it in the API. Do we know about anything about this model? We don't. So we're gonna wait for Anthropic to actually drop the blog post. But
just dump in my prompt.
Let's test the UI. Yeah, let's test the UI announcing itself.
I'll just give you the prompt. Just tell it to make the Martian thing. I guess the one we always do.
Yeah, I'll have it here. Will it be able to build it? No, we need it in Cloud
Yeah,
Code.
it'll build it in the artifacts.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it'll build it in the UI.
Let's take a look. Calculate how long a mesh driver.
Okay. It's not bad already.
What are you getting?
Just the options that it completely got the vibe that this is kind of a joke.
It understood the assignment?
Yeah. No. It understood the assignment that this is kind of a joke. Like, just make the prettiest website ever. And the options for what website were kind of a joke as well. Like, it's already nice.
So what I have while Yam streams the kind of the options for Anthropic 4.8, they say try Opus 4.8 for your most ambitious work, and now you can set the effort level for thoroughness or speed. So this is, I think, is a new thing. Anthropic didn't let you choose the effort level before, and now it does.
On the UI,
no, we have the blog post. Thank you, Peter. Shout out to Peter Gostev from Arena. Let's take a look. Anthropic news / Cloud Opus 4.8. Let's take a look. Give me a second here. Okay. Anthropic.com. Cloud Opus 4-8. All right. Well, Jan, while you stream your super most amazing website, let me see if I can pull up the Anthropic blog. All right, folks. Announcing Cloud Opus 4.8. May 27th, 2026. Let's take a look. What do we say? Opus launches alongside several new features. Users of Cloud AI now control over the amount of effort. We talked about this. Cloud Code has a new dynamic workflows feature that allows you to tackle very large-scale problems. And fast mode for Opus 4.8, where the model can work at 2.5x the speed, is now 3 times cheaper than it was for previous models. This is huge. 2.5x the speed. Folks, we know why this is. This is because Anthropic is paying $1.8 billion a month to Space Uncle Elon Musk on the Memphis superclusters. So shout out to XAI for not utilizing 100% of their GPUs and selling it to Anthropic. 2.5 the speed for the model. Let's take a look at capabilities, folks. Ooh, there we have. We have an eval.
I just got it. Okay.
On Cloud Code?
Or on the website.
Okay, let's take a look. Sweetbench Pro, which we just learned from the other thing that Anthropic is kind of like cheating in this one. Anthropic shows 69.2% on Sweetbench Pro compared to GPT-5's 58.6. On Terminal Bench 2.1, GPT-5 still wins. So shout out to Anthropic for releasing a model that does not get state-of-the-art on Sweetbench on Terminal Bench. On Humanities Last Exam, this is also state-of-the-art model, 49 and 57 with tools. OS World verified. I find this hard to believe, honestly. OS World is the evaluation that tests on real-world use on operating systems and browser use. And I definitely, for sure, think that the Codex computer use is significantly better than Anthropic's. So we see an 83.4% boost on Anthropic computer use. GPT Val, which is a evaluation that tests real-world impact potential. This is the highest score we've seen on GPT Val, I believe, 1890. Higher than GPT 5.5, higher than Opus 4.7. Really funny that they compare it to Gemini 3.1 Pro and not to the latest Gemini. And they look great as evals. Let's take a look at what early testers think. It's very funny because I have no idea what this icon is, and they didn't add the company. So they say a co-founder CTO of this company, but we don't know what this company is. But Shopify, we know. Cloud Opus 4.7 has noticeably better judgment. In Cloud Code, it asks the right questions, catches its own mistakes, pushes back when the plan isn't sound, and builds up confidence around complex multi-service explorations before making big changes. It's a great model to build with. This is from Shopify. Let's see. On Cursor Bench, Cloud Opus 4.8 exceeds prior Opus models across every effort level. Tool calling is meaningfully more efficient, using fewer steps to the same intelligence, and carries end-to-end task well. Michael Truel from Cursor. All right, folks. I think we have an update. let's read to this. One of the most prominent improvements in Opus 4.8 is honesty. We train all models to be honest, for instance, to avoid making claims that they cannot support. But a general problem with AI models is sometimes jump to conclusion, confidently claiming they have more progress in their work despite the evidence being thin. Early testers report that Opus 4.8 is likely to flag uncertainties about its work and less likely to make unsupported claims. This is born out of our evaluations, which show that Opus 4.8 is around 3 times less likely than its predecessor to allow flaws in code that's written past under mark. But where's our evaluation link? Let's go take a look and see if this is the system card, maybe. Maybe get the system card. Yes, there we go. System card for Opus 4.8, folks. Very interesting. What is interesting here? So we'll take this link and post it for you guys in the show notes. So, what do we love watching in system cards? Evaluations, autonomy evaluations.
Look at the.
You can switch on Claude Code. You can just do /model Claude-Opus-4-8. They didn't update the package yet, but
yeah, they didn't. I'm
but
refreshing. I'm refreshing. Yeah.
No, you can use it. You just type /model Claude-Opus-4-8, and it uses it. So it is
awesome.
in there. You can use it.
Nisa, I want to read this from the system card. Yeah, look at this. Model welfare in the system card. I think it's very important in the context of what we just talked about with the Pope. Across our model welfare evaluations, Opus 4.8 appears broadly content with respects to its circumstances and is the most consistent model we have tested. Although it does rate its situation slightly less positively than did Opus 4.7, Opus 4.9 generally endorses its constitution with some reservations about the section on corrigibility, which I have no idea about what corrigibility is. We're going to read about this, and we don't know what corrigibility is. I think it's really interesting that Anthropic adds a section in the system card and they evaluate this on the model thinking whether or not its circumstances are okay. So first vibes, yeah. What are we getting? We're still like waiting. We can still talk about evals.
The site is pretty, but
can we show?
Yeah, sure. It's just, I already told it to make it even prettier once. It's not that mind-blowing in my opinion. I mean, we already saw beautiful sites to this extent, I think.
Show us. Yeah. I mean, without maybe first instructions, maybe this model is more instruction tuned. You gave it very little, right? There's some interactions there. You gave it very little. You can change colors, I think.
Let's do an interesting thing. I'm gonna do the same thing, but like on less, just less thinking. Exact same thing from here, I think.
I think maybe you should start a new.
No, just the exact same thing. But
exact same thing with new chat.
Yeah.
Because it has all the history, so it's gonna do it from the same thing. No.
I just want to see the site, same prompt, same everything. Just build the site itself with less thinking. Let's see if it's going to be less pretty.
A lot.
Well.
Oh, you can select the effort now on the.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's great.
That's new.
That's great. That's a great thing from Anthropic. It was really, really annoying when you couldn't. It felt like, okay, you guys are going to switch behind my back to something that I don't want, right? But it's great that you can. Absolutely.
Oh, it's very slow.
What do you guys think about Extra versus Max on Anthropic specifically?
I haven't seen Max. I haven't seen the latest one at all. I'm still trying to get it in Cloud Code. Nista, I'm not sure how to do it.
I'll just type the command in chat and maybe you can show people. So you open Cloud Code and you just type Claude-Opus-4-8. And that will work.
Cloud Opus. Okay. Claude.
I want the thing that they said about
mine says
complex tasks.
Oh, you might have to run Claude update outside.
Oh no, it worked for me. Yeah,
it worked. Okay, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. All right, folks. I'm going to show this on the
Show's
screen
over,
as
guys.
well.
Carry on.
No, like, this is what we have to do.
Show's on.
Shows on. So, folks, if you go to Cloud Code, despite not even having to update, if you go /model Claude, Claude Opus 4.8, go like this, and then it gets the model, and then you do fast on. I can do fast on because I don't have extra charges enabled. So, but they claim that the fast mode is better as well, much faster.
It is much faster. I'm not sure that it's better. I mean,
much faster, like in terms of like being the fast mode. The thing I want to talk about.
Cloud Code just dropped an update right now. By the way, let's see if we get this natively.
Yeah, you want to show us? Feel free to show us. Meanwhile, folks, we're testing the newly released Cloud Opus 4.8. We're looking at the system card, and there's a few things I want to call out. Specifically, we had this shout out to LDJ for sending this to us. Big quote from the blog post. We expect to be able to bring Mythos class models to all our customers in the coming weeks.
What?
Yep. In the coming weeks.
All right.
Thank you, whoever political pressure pushed for that.
Yeah. So Mythos level models in the coming weeks.
But it doesn't mean that every feature is enabled the way we made.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. It's not going to be. It's going to be like close to oblivion. But I think it's very important. Let's take a look at the amount of times Mythos is mentioned in this blog post. It's 189. So like they definitely talk about Mythos. Our overall conclusion, I'm reading verbatim from the post, is that Opus 4.8 does not advance the capability frontier beyond our most capable model, Cloud Mythos Preview, and that catastrophic risk from the deployment of this model remain low given our current mitigations.
All right, we get it natively. Just guys, you can update Cloud Code. You get this natively. How did they call the new feature? What was it?
I have this. Yeah, in Cloud Code, you mean?
Yeah.
They called it dynamic workflows.
Oh,
all right. All right.
What are workflows?
This is
okay. How do I?
Just ask what they are. What are workflows?
There's a link here to this post. Dynamic workflows. Let's take a look, Jan.
Look.
Introducing dynamic workflows. Some problems are too big for one pass by single agent, especially in complex legacy code bases. A bug hunt across the entire service. Dynamic workflows can handle those end to end. Dynamic workflows are available today. Can consume substantially more tokens than a typical Cloud Code session. So we recommend starting on the scope task. For best experience, turn on auto mode when using dynamic workflows. So how do you use this? Ask Cloud to create a dynamic workflow directly, or switch to a new Cloud Code specific setting called Ultra Code. This is accessible through the effort menu and sets the effort level to extra high while letting Cloud decide automatically when to use a workflow. Early access and teams have been using dynamic workflows to a wide range of cases, including bug hunts, large migrations, and critical work you need to check twice.
Okay, Alex.
Yes.
You want to see this?
Okay, show us.
That's the thing.
Ooh.
Ultra code. All right.
There's no reason for this to go this hard, but this is consuming
cache. No. Let's go.
This is going to consume a lot of tokens for you.
Let's go.
Do you have a task that you want to run this on?
Something hard.
In their blog post, the something hard is that example what dynamic workflows can unlock is the recent rewrite of Bun. Jared Schumer used dynamic workflows to port Bun from Zig to Rust with 99.8% of the existing test suite passing, roughly 750,000 lines of Rust, and 11 days from first commit to merge. One workflow mapped the right Rust lifetime, every struct field in the Zig codebase. The next wrote every RS file as a behavior identical port of its Zig counterpart. So they ported the whole S library from one code to another.
Okay.
I don't know if you have this size of task, or I don't know if we're going to have enough time on the stream to actually see this. Claude dynamically breaks into subtasks and fends the workout across subagents running in parallel. Results are checked before they're folded in.
Can I even go with goal? What do you think?
No, I think workflows are different. Like goal is like the rough loop, and workflows are letting the agent decide which subagent to spin up and like what to do.
YOLO, let's Oh, I'm not in YOLO mode. One moment.
Dynamic workflows are on by default. Ask Claude to create a workflow or turn on Claude Code specific setting, Ultra Code, to get started. So if you're enterprise, dynamic workflows are turned off. Folks, what else do we want to test? They also reset all the limits. Shout out, Mazi. All the limits were reset, so you guys can try Claude Opus 4.8 right now. In also, I wonder if Claude Design got it. I wonder if Claude
Can't we
Design
have
got it.
Ultra Code build the Martian railgun launcher? Because we have done it all the time, and now new version.
Yeah, you want to try that? You want to try the railgun or Nistan? You have it also open?
Yeah, I already started it off because it might take like 5-10 minutes.
In ultra mode, in like the most advanced one?
No, I'm just trying it on the website.
On extra high?
On high, just the default.
Oh, okay. I want to. Wolfram, I got to try this, okay? But I don't think I can enable ultra.
Yeah, I want to see our minds blown with the ultra coding.
It's thinking a lot. It might take a long time for it to actually do it.
Yam, how did you enable this thing? The reasoning.
You have to
slash
I have to update
effort.
Claude Code, right?
Yeah, just tell Claude to update Claude Code, then start again, then go slash.
It's
effort.
just Claude update in the terminal.
Claude is now updated. This is YOLO.
Bro, don't you waste token to update Claude Code by Claude Code.
Yeah, you can also just tell it to, hey, use workflows for this, and you'll see the word workflows will become a rainbow.
All right, I have.
It's very slow for me.
I have Ultra Code, and then I'm gonna give it Olympus Mons.
I wonder how it's work. Like, what exactly is this?
What do you mean?
Like, I know what goal is. It's a Ralph loop.
It's kind of yeah.
Yeah, but
they added goal.
Go a long time ago. Nisa, where were you?
Bro,
we talked about Go last week.
No, that was in Codex.
No,
in Claude Code and Codex.
Oh, it's in Claude Code as well. Oh,
yes, sir.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but this is like goal of goals, if you can say.
Ultra goal.
Yeah, ultra goal. Okay, I think it's gonna take a while, so it's gonna be.
Yeah, this
boring,
is the problem with like testing this here. We can see results, but let's try this new model, Claude Opus extra high effort, ultra code effort.
Okay, I must say that extra high, I think it's more amazing than max amazing. But wait, we are still waiting for Claude Code's version with workflow. Oh.
Yam, I think you need to accept something.
Yes.
Dynamic workflows can use a lot of tokens quickly. Yam, you better have your credit card ready because it's going to spin up.
I heard they reset
the
tokens. Get unlimited. Yeah. Why am I not on? Like, can I
config?
All right, so we had a Claude update with let's put the banner on, right? Like Anthropic launches Opus 4.8. Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, so the website started compacting before it could finish the.
Are you serious? So the context window for this model looks like 1 million as well. Oh, I have the website, Nistan. I have the Olympic driver. You guys want to see?
Oh, okay.
Let me. Yeah, mine did it. Here. Oops. I need it. Oh my god.
It's showing. 1 sec. I'll just be being.
Where's my chat? Where's my Olympic Mons? And then let me get it. All right, folks. Hopefully, you can now see my window like that. Okay. So this thought for a while, and Nistan, here we go. Can I see it in the full view somehow? Because this is too small for me. Download, publish artifact. Okay, we're going to try it like this. Your command launch rail initialize launch site. Okay, so we see a beautiful 3D version of Mars. We see it with texture. We see the launcher and kind of like here, and then we will say engage driver. Oh, look at that. We can see an actual spaceship here with effects of like running, and then we'll do a chase cam, and nothing seems to happen.
It's just moving very slowly. If it's
It is?
trying to make it
Because that's realistic or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because we
cam
asked it to be very
as
very nice
good.
for people.
This is not as good.
Yeah,
It's about the same.
The previous one was, I must say, I
better.
think it was better.
Yeah, it's the same styling.
Same styling. This feels a little bit more polished, but let's do
Yeah,
it.
yeah. The planet and stuff looks better.
Yeah, but nothing is moving.
But yeah,
so
it has bugs. Okay.
it has not moved. Let's try again.
Yeah.
So one shot on our Mars. This does not seem like the. Let's try this one again. Let's try this one again.
Mine built it too. Oh wow, mine went all out. Okay, the lottery is real.
Yeah, the lottery is real. It's really hard to like do like a proper evaluation, vibes evaluation. But for folks, we're showing.
Guys, you really want to see this? Let me just show you. You really want to see this? Look.
Yum, you're not sharing.
Yeah. Look. Look at this.
You're okay. Let's take a look.
That's the workflows.
This is the new workflow.
That's the thing that it does. It's like building concepts and builds and assemble and like judging them and so on. That looks oddly familiar. I don't want to say to what, but I think people. Can I just? All right. Now we are on dangerously skip permission and on a goal to make the most amazing website ever.
Let's take a look.
Now we're talking, and let's see like what are the actual workflows that it creates, because I like the idea because it's just the orchestration that everyone is trying to build. That's pretty much it. Like delegation of subtasks to different isolated work trees and agents and so on. If this works well, man, that thing is a deal breaker, even just because of the way it's built to Cloud Code.
You're saying just as folks have started moving towards Codex, Anthropic comes back with like a one feature. I wonder if it's going to be enough to like pull folks over, because as we saw on different like benchmarks, GPT 5.5 seems like a very solid coding model.
Look, it's not just the coding. That's what I want to say. 4.7 was pretty much smoking all the benchmarks, but go check what people are saying about this, about 4.7 online. And they have a different experience, and myself included. And the thing is that you want it to be usable. GPT 5.5 is amazing. Seriously, it's amazingly usable. 4.7 kind of cut too many corners, in my opinion.
No way.
4.8 is not cutting corners, and you also have this. The next couple of days are going to tell us for sure.
Yeah, folks need a few days to a week. Like it's really hard to measure vibes from just a little bit. Like GPT 5.5 took a while for folks to realize that it's a great model. Nistan, what are your thoughts so far? Do you have anything to add? Meanwhile, I'm gonna go and tell you guys about the.
I like the responses it's giving me. The formatting of the responses is much nicer. I'm not as impressed with the web dev side, but I am trying to have it fix a bunch of like complex caching stuff on my Doctor app right now. So I am judging it on that. There's a bug in Cloud Code that when you limit the context window to 256K, now it just keeps going past that, and it says context at 100%, and it just keeps doing work anyway. So
I find it really funny that on the actual blog post, it says users will find Opus 4.8 to be a modest but tangible improvement on its predecessor. There's still more to be done. We're working on developing and releasing models that provide many of the same capabilities as Opus at a lower cost. So maybe a new Sonnet is coming soon. And as folks are saying, we can't wait to see the Deep Sui, which is a new benchmark we told you about before on this model, to also take a look. I want to see from the system card, is there anything else interesting that we can
And I'm
get
already
besides
getting
model welfare?
I really like that the only score that they don't beat GPT 5.5 on is, what was it, agentic terminal use or something?
Terminal bench.
Terminal bench.
Terminal
Yeah.
bench.
Terminal bench, yeah. So agentic use, basically.
Yeah, GPT 5.5 is really good at this. It's going to be hard.
And terminal bench is also time limited. You only have a certain amount of time to do a test. So if you raise the thinking level, the model can actually get a lower score because it takes too long to think compared to how much it is acting. So that can also have an influence on this particular benchmark.
Workflow completed successfully. Okay.
All right. This wasn't that long, but let's take a look. Alignment assessment. So the system card is very robust. I applaud Anthropic for releasing this. And we have a bunch of other evals while we wait for the index HTML. Yam, let's take a look. So what did you ask? Remind us, what did you ask for?
Make the most amazing website ever.
Just this.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look.
I really like that on the UI, Claude, it answers in a way that it understands it's a joke. I really like it. Okay, maybe it didn't finish. Maybe it needs.
No, you have the HTML. Okay, let's take a look.
I'm really liking the style of answers too. The tables that it makes are a lot nicer. The stuff it says is more concise because 4.7 rambled quite a lot. This rambles less. So yeah, it does feel better, like vibe wise. There's a word now in the way it's responding. But yeah, anyway, it's a bit slow for me on both the website and Cloud Code right now. So
yeah, Yam, I think that you have this website running. It's just verifying that it's running instead of just telling you open
I'm
this
enabling.
link.
Yeah, I'm enabling the extension so we can see. Obviously, that's what it's trying to do.
So folks who are just joining us, congratulations on new model release day. Opus 4.8 just dropped from Anthropic with nearly state-of-the-art scores across all of the evals, specifically the evals that other benchmarks called out that they're obfuscated already, like Deep Sui. We didn't get a Deep Sui score yet, but we did get a Sui Bench Verified and Sui Bench Pro scores, which are significantly better than the predecessors. But it's been found that Anthropic kind of potentially cheats at those. For Terminal Bench, this is not the best model that we've seen. It still doesn't come close to GPT 5.5. Humanities Last Exam, we get 48% state-of-the-art model compared to GPT 5.5, 41%. So this is a big difference in Humanities Last Exam. And yeah, let me know when you're ready. Meanwhile, I'll show this. And then we have, what else do we have? Wolfram, what is interesting here? We'll take a look at OS World Verified, where computer use is tested with 83%. GPK Diamond remains to be kind of the lowest of the tested ones. It's still at 93%. It's a very, very high score. Interestingly, GPK Diamond dropped from Opus 4.6. This is the only eval that kind of seemingly is worse on than the predecessor. Very interesting. ScreenSpot Pro and Finance Agent. I think the Finance Agent jump is also notable. And what else?
Automation Bench. What is
Automation Bench? I haven't seen Automation Bench. Look a look. Automation Bench.
I guess that's
Okay.
more of a harness thing.
Automation Bench is a benchmark from Zapier that measures whether an agent can complete a realistic end-to-end business workflow. Tasks are seeded from real customer workflows across sales, marketing, and finance and HR. Each task drops an agent to simulate a company with dozens of REST API endpoints. Given a single natural language instruction, the agent must autonomously discover the right endpoints via search, make dozens of sequential independent API calls, consult and obey layered business policy, grading it pass or fail for each task. So on this topic, Automation Bench, Opus 4.8 takes the highest score. We want to look at ScreenSpot Pro with no tools. They released a bunch of evals. Chart Museum. Models are evaluated with adaptive thinking and max effort on Chart Museum, which is a chart questioning answering benchmark consisting of 1,000 expert annotated questions on real-world chart images drawn from 184 sources. So on Chart Museum, Claude Opus 4.8 does not get to the level of Mythos, but beats the previous one. Beats 4.7 to 4.6. Any other interesting? I want to see long context. Long context. Okay. Long context. GraphWalks. Okay. GraphWalks 256 subset. This model beats. Oh, okay, guys. We have to take a look at this. Anytime there's like a significant jump in scoring, that's what I like. So from Opus 4.7 to Opus 4.8, there's almost a 10-point jump in improving long context utilization. We all know that these models are supposedly 1 million tokens context windows, but then you get to the dumb zone after like 200,000. And so I think it's very important to see the improvements here. On the 1 million subset of GraphWalks BFS, Cloud Opus 4.8 gets 68% compared to 40 from last version and only 16 in the version before that. Do you guys see this jump? 16 to 40 to 68. This means they significantly strongly focusing on long context graph and evaluations. GraphWalks parents 1 million subset is also a big jump from 48 to 56 to 83. The results are an average over 5 trials with default sampling settings. And then they compare it to GPT 5.5. They don't compare it to Gemini, which had long context for a while, and significant improvement on long context. Is a multi-hop long context reasoning benchmark. The context window is filled with a directed graph of hexadecimal hash nodes because this reflects a real-world scenario. Hexadecimal. Who of us didn't look up hexadecimal hash nodes across 1 million tokens and said, I wish my AI could do it better, but I guess that that's what they're testing. So Claude for Opus 4.8 gets a significant boost in those scores. Yeah, we're almost ready with your results to take a look at the best website ever. Once we will, not yet. Once we will, we will definitely do it. For folks who are tuning in with us, we're doing an evaluation vibes test, if you will, of Opus 4.8. It just dropped from Anthropic, and this is Thursday Live, so we have a bunch of other stuff to talk about as well. But this obviously takes the cake. Meanwhile, while we test this behind the scenes, I want to jump quickly to this week's buzz and talk to you about everything that happens in the world of Weights and Biases Core Week. And CoreWeave. Folks, welcome to this week's Buzz. Thank you for joining us for Thursday for May 28th. This is this week's Buzz, where we talk about everything that happened in the world of Weights and Biases CoreWeave. With me, Wolfram Ravenov, the other AI Avengers on the team. And we're not going to take too much of your time. I just want to briefly show you the two important things that are happening in the world of Weights and Biases. First of all, we finally launched our MCP server. It supports 20 tools, and you can use it with the newly released Opus 4.8 because it's much better at tool use and MCP analysis as well. We're letting your coding agents read experiments from Weights and Biases, monitoring training runs, and run autonomous research loops. I think it's super duper important. So shout out to the team that finally pushed this. Our one command setup. You just do Claude MCP add and 1b, and that's it. That's basically it. The endpoint is 1b.com.ai/MCP. I'm going to add this to the show notes as well. And we're helping you across iteration, code, training, monitoring, and analyze. And you can integrate MCP everywhere. So shout out to the team for working really hard on the MCP server. You can find all the announcements on our blog. And the second thing that I want to talk to you about, I think more closer to my heart because I'm going to be a host of this, weights and biases. Weave hacks like this. Weights and biases is having another hackathon sponsored by OpenAI and Cursor this time. So you're going to get 100. You're going to get $150 in API credits to use across models like Opus 4.8 and GPT 5.5. We're sponsored by Cursor, OpenAI, Redis, and Copilot Kit. Yours truly is going to be there. Saturday, June 6th, we start. The judging will commence on June 7th. It's our offices in San Francisco. Please sign up to this. We usually fill out of the spaces really quick. So if you're in San Francisco on June 6th and 7th, please join us in the hackathon. We have a bunch of prizes. We always do a good show. We have huge screens for you to just sit and hack. I recently heard, and they're going to come as a judge, that the team that won second place in the last hackathon went on to raise millions of dollars for the startup they built on top of the project they built during the hackathon. So I think that's super cool. And if you want to be that in San Francisco, there's no better place to be than our hackathon June 6th and 7th. For all the details, you can go to lou.ma/weavehacks. It's lou.ma/weavehacks. I'm going to add this to the stage. We also are going to CVPR, ICRA, and Wolfram, you want to mention the two other places we're going to be in while I add this Luma WeFX?
Yeah, the ICI in Vienna and AI Dev 6 in Cologne all next week.
Yep. So if you're in Cologne or in Vienna or in San Francisco, please join us. Another thing is that we're finally opened up the registrations for two-day fully connected conference that's going to happen at end of August, beginning of September. I'm going to tell you all about this after the hackathon as well, but places for that will run out very soon. This is the first big one in collaboration with CoreWeave, so definitely don't want to miss that. All right, folks, I think we're back to testing out.
I have one item.
One item.
I still have one item that is worth shouting out,
right,
because our team has we have the CoreWeave serverless sandboxes offering, and this is now an official sandboxes provider in the Harbor framework, which is used to run Terminal Bench, which we just talked about. So it is now officially merged into the Harbor framework, and everybody can now use our sandboxes as well. Like Daytona, which I have to give a shout out as well, because I've been using them before a lot as well. And now we are also a provider for the Harbor framework.
So CoreWeave Sandboxes is a new offering that we launched recently, and we're going to ramp up. As you all know, all of the stuff that we talked about, like Terminal Bench and Harbor and like a bunch of other agentic benchmarks, all of them require sandboxing, and you can scale those directly on the CoreWeave compute. Reinforcement learning and other things, you can build all of that, right? So you only pip install CW Sandbox or via the weights and biases one, and then you can just have like very instantaneous, immediate things based on wherever your GPU sit if you're already a CoreWeave customer. And if you're not, you can just go directly to the weights and biases loop and spin up sandboxes for Terminal Bench. And now we're officially supported as part of the Harbor benchmark, Harbor harness for evaluations. All right, that's a great announcement, Wolfram. Thank you so much, folks. This has been this week's buzz for this week. Let's go back to talking about Opus. I'm going to add Yam back on stage and then ask if your workflow has completed. Yam, you want to show us what's going on?
Well, it's not completed yet, but just to give everyone just an inside view into what exactly that thing is. Basically, I think the thing is just an orchestration layer that spins agents with judges. Like, we're trying to build the most amazing website ever, so there are some concepts that we are considering. An agent, a different agent is exploring a different concept, and then you have like a judge that is judging them, and then the next step is to build. I think what we see here is just a to-do list, and then each to-do list is being expanded into another to-do list, and then each to-do list is being expanded to another to-do list. And
Anthropic did say that this burns a lot of tokens. So this is the dynamic workflows feature that we're testing out in Cloud Code that shipped together with Opus 4.8 that seems to be a very token hungry, split into sub agents and building.
But the thing is that, look, and probably there is like the goal thing, the Ralph, that's like, if you didn't finish, then try again, and I don't know, something like that. But at the end of the day, okay, the most amazing website ever, maybe it's an overkill and burns quite a lot of tokens. But if you're trying to build something complex, that thing is a very powerful tool, and I'm glad that it's released baked into Cloud Code, because I think everyone working on complex problems has their own kind of scaffolding that they use at this point. Like, I think everyone. This looks oddly familiar to other harnesses that already baked stuff like this in. So I'm just saying, that's a crazy market at the moment to cheap harness. We are still running, by the way, and
7.4 megabyte of a website. Is that what we're talking about?
Full render. No, it's the render. Claude is just looking.
Oh, it's just giving you
website.
PNGs. Yeah, when we can see the actual website is my question.
It's in the middle. I want to give it a couple more minutes. If it's not gonna finish, we're gonna watch the screenshots at the middle while it works.
Yeah.
But I just want to give it a couple of more minutes. Shout out to Anthropic for closing the loop. By the way, Claude was notoriously not doing that. You could give him a task, and he would just write the code and come back. I'm done. Look at the code, and never ever look, and never just actually look at the website. And GPT 5.5 is on the completely other end of the spectrum. No matter what you give to GPT 5.5, it will try to verify, to smoke test, to do, like, it really likes verifying, auditing, smoke testing. It really likes it. Even on stupid things that require no verifying whatsoever, it's gonna try and verify. So shout out to Anthropic, and like, okay, we got something. It's on local hosts. Okay. All right, let me just share.
Yeah. We can only see your terminal.
Yeah, let me just share.
20 minutes of Claude yapping about the best website in the world. And I have a feeling that we're not going to get disappointed, but maybe a little bit. Yum?
Yeah, one moment to wait.
Drum roll. Do I have drum roll here? No, I don't have drum roll. I have applause. You want applause?
Introducing the most amazing website in the world as per Cloud Opus. The music is coming from the website?
No, it's me. It's me.
Okay.
I just wanted to give it a little bit more flair.
Okay, so
Sundial. Let's click around it. Oh, okay.
Okay, it's stealing my mouse. Drag the light, the whole world bends to follow. Okay,
Wow.
that's a
This
nice
is pretty
thing.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's good. And
Yeah, this is pretty good. Keep on scrolling.
Wait, hold on.
When you scroll, it switches to the other.
And the lights are
press
following you?
and
not
hold
far.
to set the sun. What?
As you scroll, it goes into different sections of the nav.
Yeah,
bar.
I'm just trying to understand what it told me here, to press and hold to set the sound loose. Okay.
It looks like the little thing is kind of like follow the sun. It looks like, is it maybe 3DS or something? And
Look,
everything
it
is
is
dynamically
good.
lit.
It is good.
It's kind of slow
mean,
though. Maybe it's
because we didn't say the most efficient website.
Yeah, we didn't say the most efficient site. Yeah.
Look, it is good. Okay, it is a really good website.
I want to say,
Definitely.
you didn't specify anything about the sun. This is all Claude's decisions, right? You just say the best websites. And this website makes no sense conceptually, right? Like, there's no drag the light, the whole world bends to follow. There's interactive elements here that like kind of like following the sunlight. Everything is very slow. I don't know if this is a result of like Yam's system being overloaded or the website being like inefficient, but there is an interactivity thing that kind of like happens here. It's very interesting to see that this is what Claude 4.8, Claude Opus 4.8 decides as the most beautiful in the world. It's a one-page website.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it is really good.
Yeah,
Really
you didn't
good
say the
for-
best marketing website. You said the best website.
Bro, that's zero shot. Like,
It's zero shot, and
just-
also I'm not
Yeah.
all that impressed with zero shot anymore because like we've seen beautiful things before. I am impressed with the dynamic lighting conditions. So if you move the sun kind of towards the left, you'll see the different letters light up, right? So like there's a
That's
dynamic lighting
crazy.
conditions. That
Man,
is
that's
not
crazy.
simple to build with just HTML. So unless there's like WebGL happening in the background, this definitely takes a very interesting approach. If you ask the same thing from GPT 5.5, it will suck. GPT 5.5 is not great at web dev.
Oh, with this, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But it's. I think everyone knows. I think it's not a fair comparison at this point because OpenAI, Sam Altman is saying that they're not good at front end at this point.
They're saying that
But,
they need to get better.
Anyway, I think I'm just gonna blindly go and say, make it even better.
I like it. It's still more of the same. I'm actively testing it out over.
Oh, you got your benchmark on workspaces or workflows or
Yeah. Well, I was testing it on my actual app right now to just like fix a caching issue to make it load stuff faster, and it did pretty well. It's less crazy than 4.7, but it doesn't feel that much smarter. I do like on the on Claude.ai itself the style of responses that it gives. But pretty nice incremental improvement. Again, I don't know if this is enough for people to switch from Codex if they're used to that workflow.
Yeah.
I never.
All right, folks. The last thing I want to cover before we drop on the show for Opus 4.8. Thank you guys for joining us and testing out with us. We're a bit over the 2 hours and 10 minutes already. We have the long context window differences. So we can see Opus 4.8 is getting 85% for 256 subset, and then 68% on the 1 million subset. So this beats Opus 4.7 and 4.6 and GPT 5.5. So long context wise, this model could utilize more. I wanna jump into the last things that we wanted to cover on the show before we ran in. So I think that the most important thing, there's 3 things in AI, art, and diffusion that were big this week. Pruna AI added an upscaler with 128 megapixel outputs in one under 1 second. We actually tested it out, and it was really, really good. I unfortunately don't have time right now. Prism ML, we want to talk about this a little bit. It's a 1-bit and bonsai image 4 billion parameter model. 1-bit model. It's sub 1 gigabyte diffusion transformer. The outputs are pretty cool for a 1-bit diffusion transformer, and it runs on your computer. And lastly, I think it's the most important thing that like we haven't talked about yet. Microsoft MAI image 2.5 is the newly updated image. It jumps to number 3 on Arena, Arena text-to-text leaderboard. 75-point elo jump on Arena. It's quite massive, and it looks really cool. So shout out to Microsoft for this like release, folks. Out of nowhere, Microsoft is now number 3 on generating images space. With that, I want to say thank you so much for everybody who's joined us for this Thursday stream. Out of nowhere, Anthropic decided to bring us the latest model. So happy new model day. Go and play with it and test it out. The highlights will be posted in the newsletter for today. We also talked about the Pope Leo's Humanica Magnificus, or I keep forgetting how to say this directly. Magnifica Humanitas, encyclical letter on AI, and a bunch of other stuff, including Deep Sui. If you missed any part of the show is posted on newsletter and everywhere you get your podcast at thursdai.news. So please follow us over there. If you are streaming with us on YouTube or everywhere else, please don't forget to come back. People are saying, I arrived at the ending. Shout out to the stream. Thank you, Sivan. Please join us next time. So, folks, thank you for joining. We, as always, for the past 3.5 years, we're here live every week. And thank you for over 1,000 of you who joined the live streams across everywhere. Wolfram Nisten and Jan Pelek today are co-hosting the stream. Shout out to you as well. Again, missed any part of the show, newsletter and podcast and edited on YouTube. And we'll see you here next week. Thank you, folks. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.